How's it going? So what we're looking at here is a dpms Panther, chambered in 223, semi-automatic, with a couple of cool guy upgrades. Obviously we had a Picatinny rail on the front of it, collapsible buttstock, which actually came with it. I haven't replaced anything on that. We do have a new buffer spring in it and a new buffer itself. The bolt carrier group and the bolt itself have all been modified a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of sanding and stuff like that to get it smoother, get it moving right. It's been a great rifle so far. I've been really happy with it. I do have an M150 Trijicon ACOG on top of this bad boy. It does work really well for what I'm using it for. It has a 4x multiplier on it, and it has the tritium inside of it, so that it has a spectacular. This is the Chevron. I like it. It works. Now, when you're zeroing this rifle, you're going to zero it at 25 meters or yards, either way, and then that will give you another aim point at 300 meters because of the arc of the bullet, right? But that's not what I'm trying to get at today. What I want to talk about today is something that my good friend John Esposito, but I call him Espo. He's the man at Counter-Strike Tactical. Great guys. They got some awesome stuff over there, and we're going to be talking a lot about their stuff here coming up pretty soon, because we're going to play with all kinds of cool stuff and see how well it works. And I'm sure that it won't be a letdown in any way, shape, or form, because I know this man. Good stuff. So, what we're going to play with today is we have cleanse oil, right? And I'm going to show you how we're going to get to this. You guys will enjoy the video coming up to it. And cleanse oil is saying up to 15 years it can sit on the rifle. It doesn't gum up in water. It doesn't gum up in posterior environments. It's a spray bottle, which I'm really happy with. I like kind of using that as far as getting in there. And then we have the bolt cleaning tool, which is spectacular as well. I've actually used one of these before. It's an AR-15 scraper. This is for your bolt faces and all those really hard to get to kind of things that are on your bolt. Really great all-around tool, really small, really simple to carry around with you. And it works really well for doing a field strip. So if you're out in the field and you're shooting, all of a sudden you have an issue with your rifle and you need to tear it down, and maybe you've got to build it up of carbon or something like that, you can get that off there real quick, real easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the actual trigger assembly. If I can get inside of there, that John sent me as well. Thank you, Espo, you man. Okay, now the nice thing about this trigger assembly is that it is a very short pull, very light trigger, but it's still substantial. It's very solid. Compared to the one that was originally in this, obviously it's dpms. I actually bought this rifle at Walmart when they still sold these things at Walmart. And it was $600, nothing to it. And I have put about 3,000 rounds through it. No issues, none yet. I think I had a gas ring go out on me one time, not a big deal. Other than that, relatively malfunction free. So, but anyways, the trigger that's in here is really nice. I don't know if you can hear the metallic. Let's see if you can hear it. So that's the fire, now the release. Oh, I didn't get it, sorry, my bad. Bang. It charges to the rear. Click. There's your metallic click. What's really nice with this thing is that once it's here, it is like hair trigger, spectacular for the next click. Right there. Too easy, alright? But what I'm going to do with this thing is I'm actually going to abuse this rifle pretty rough today, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of carbon built up inside of it, and then we're going to put cleanse oil through the ringer and see how it works. This is called Cleanse Oil Field and Range. Cleans, protects, lubricates, and prevents rust. Lock, stock, and barrel, it says. Okay, I haven't used it yet, haven't touched it yet, but something tells me if John gave it to me, it's probably awesome. So, without any further ado, I'm going to put a couple 30-round magazines to this bad boy, and we'll see how it works out. As far as the trigger itself, you can see that and enjoy that, and then we're going to clean it afterwards so you can see how it cleans up. Alright, here we go. Okay, so, weapons on safe, one in the chamber, 223, we're going to fire it like 25 meters, we'll fire it some 100 meters and stuff like that, and I'm not just going to do video of me sitting at the table, I promise. The way this is going to work is I want you to kind of hear the metallic click and that kind of stuff, and be able to watch my trigger pull and see how the trigger itself is working. All right, so hopefully this works out. I have the camera sitting right by the front of the rifle, so we'll see what happens. Phone's still standing. God, it's so tight. So what's awesome about this trigger is that it's almost firing before I'm even ready. Now that's my own fault. That's not the trigger's fault. So you're tracking on that. I'm used to a heavier trigger on this thing because of the one that came with it. It was, you know, it's like pulling down trees. So it's awesome as far as getting it out quick. Let's put a couple through it fast and see what it looks like. Yeah, I live with that. Very consistent, very smooth. I barely feel like I'm touching the trigger here. What's nice about that is it's going to keep you from having to jerk and yank on it. I mean, I'm only shooting a 25, don't mind, you know, whatever. But Counter-Strike Tactical, first thing so far, loving it. Let's see what happens on the other side. Yep. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to throw a couple of groupings down there, just standing, little bit of quick reaction kind of stuff, ready ups, those kind of things. I'll go from the low ready to a high ready. And then I'm going to take a little walk with it and see if we can't push some more carbon through this bad boy and just have some fun with it and test the trigger out. I did just get done playing with it a second ago, and this trigger is actually working really well. I'm really happy with it. All right, so let's see how it looks. And we're clear. Okay, so just got done playing with the trigger. Awesome. Counter-Strike Tactical. Way to go. John Espo, you man. So, what I want to do now, rifle's still kind of hot, so I'm not going to get too crazy with playing with the barrel and stuff like that. We can pull the bolt out and we can look at it and everything. I'm going to do a breakdown, kind of 101 style. So bear with me for you guys that know what you're doing with these things. And I'm not trying to insult what you know and what you don't know and all that kind of stuff. But anybody that may want to watch this that wants to learn how to do stuff, that they've, you know, maybe they've never tore apart the rifle, they don't understand the inside, they're scared of it, whatever, right? So what you got to do is there's a little pin right here. We're going to pull this pin out. We're going to do this called shotgunning it, right? Make sure that your bolt is forward, bolt's forward. Now we're going to pull back on this here, this, you know, on my charging handle, and pull it out. Here's your bolt. Pretty easy, right? And you can remove your charging handle if you'd like to as well. And that's really all you're going to take out from the inside of this thing. You can take your buffer spring and your buffer itself out of here. And I suggest doing this every so often because it does get dirty back in there. And you actually want to check your buffer spring, see if there's any wear on it. And what that looks like is you'll have a shiny spot on it or a flat spot on it if you're starting to get like a weird wear inside of there. With this being a Walmart rifle, I might have that issue. So the bolt itself, we're going to move the rifle. Now, when you're looking at this, you know, it's going to look like a bunch of complex parts and all that kind of stuff. It's not really anything crazy at all. It's really, really simple to do this. I'm just going to do it. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to use a handy dandy scraper tool and see how many ways we can get using this thing. So, one of the first things you have to take out is the retainer pin. That works out really well for that apparently. So that pops out your pin. The pin goes down here on the mat. Now, your firing pin. Firing pin. Now, you have your cam bolt. This thing is disgustingly dirty, so we ought to get a good bit of this is how that's looking. And all I did was push my bolt to the rear. And that's it, right? We pull the bolt out. We want to visually inspect our gas rings and make sure they're not cracked or broke or missing or anything like that, which they look to be alright. We want to look inside the bolt itself, inside the hole, and make sure there's no cracks, there's no major wears, there's no scarring, which once again looks spectacular. Make sure that your gas block is doing well. Make sure that there's no burrs on the end of it, because that will create a malfunction in your rifle when you're firing, all those kind of things. Make sure it's not bent or cracked. Make sure that your little detents right here, the retainers, that's what's keeping those little screws in place. So we make sure that's all good, and everything looks pretty good on this one, other than the fact that it's extremely dirty. But that's okay. Now, on the bolt itself, this is a bolt carrier, this is a bolt. So, on the bolt itself, there's a little pin right here. Let's see if I can get close enough so you can see it. A little bit pin right there. We're just going to push the pin with the firing pin. Okay, little retainer pin pops right out, this tiny little guy. We're going to set him down. Now this little paw right here is what grabs the cartridge after it's been spent, and it's what flings it out the side of your rifle. This is where you're getting your brass. This is also one of the things that nobody ever takes apart. The reason why you have to do this, and I will try to show you, I don't know how well you can see it in there, is it's disgusting in there. Okay? The other thing you want to look at on your rifle is this little guy right here. This little bitty spring. That's the extractor spring. If that spring is wore out or bent or broken or any of those kind of things, you will not be getting a good ejection, and you can get a lot of double overrides, misfeeds, and just lots of huge pain in the butt kind of things. Now, if you are getting a lot of double overrides, this is the first thing I would look at, by the way, is that if you're getting a lot of lack of it throwing the round out and not doing it, I would check your gas block, those kind of things. Oh, anyway, so we'll get into a diagnostic thing some other day. But for right now, so as you can see by my fingers, this is completely disgusting. So I am going to go wash my hands real quick. I'm going to get this set up, and we're going to spray some of this cleaner on here and see how it works. So I assumed, looking at this, that this was a carbon buildup, and it's actually not. The firing pin itself, and you're probably not going to be able to see it on there, is getting, I guess, squished almost. It's actually beating it up pretty good. Now, I'll tell you right now, it has nothing to do with the new trigger group or the old trigger group so much as the type of material that they're using on their firing pin. The firing pin is probably just too soft of a metal. It's not the end of the world, you know. Yeah, I will have to sand that down later and clean it up a little bit just because I'm OCD like that. So let's give it a try on the bolt. Now, I'll try to give you a close-up of the bolt. Ooh, gross, disgusting, dirty. This is a Delta Series bolt. It's got the little thing on. So, spraying it directly on it again. I was told a little bit goes a long way with this stuff. But I'm spraying a lot on anyways. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and like, I'm not getting paid for this video or nothing like that. I'm just doing it because I know my man John sent me some really awesome stuff, and I like to share with other people. So that is pretty spectacular. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I haven't went through and like tore this thing all the way down to every little tiny piece and made sure it's perfect. But if you look on here, like the primary ring, the one up in the front here, is actually really clean. And this is just a quick wipe. Like, I haven't used any kind of Q-tips. I haven't got out my dental picks. I haven't done any of that stuff. Or used my cool guy tool. Which I guess, in reality, this kind of like negates you from having to use all that stuff. Oh yeah. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm placing this in here and I'm just turning this around. And as I turn it, it's just taking that carbon off. And anybody that's ever tried to clean the back side of this bolt, you know, I'm sure you've remembered how much fun this is. Like having to fight with a dental pick or getting out of like your knife or just kind of scraping it or even running like a Brillo pad, right, all that kind of stuff. But this, oh, that is beautiful. Let's give it a quick wipe down. That is nice. I'm going to show you here in just 1 second, bear with me. I'm excited. John, I know I've told you thank you about 400,000 times already, but thank you. Counter-Strike Tactical. They're in Florida, by the way. I'm in Texas. But it doesn't matter. this kind of stuff especially. I mean, you can send it pretty much anywhere. And I mean, in all reality, one of the big things that I think we all struggle with is looking around and trying to find, you know, reputable products that work well for what we're doing. And I'm sure everybody's got their own opinion on what works better and those kind of things. You know, all I can do, in all honesty, is try something out for you, right? And you didn't have to buy this, you know, and I can tell you how it's working. You can either trust me or you can't. It's up to you. But I can show you, you know, that's one of the big things. I'm really pretty happy with that. I apologize once again that my phone does not like to focus on anything close to it. But you can see here, I mean, from what I'm seeing on the screen, at least, it's clean. I mean, that little scraper thing took it right out there. Now I'm using the hook end a little bit. One of the issues, I'll tell you a little something too. As far as your double feeds and stuff go, it's not just that feeder paw that does it. You actually have a little ejector plunger on this side right here. There's another little pin up toward the top of it. I'm not going to get into how to take all that stuff apart, but too easy. And I actually was an armorer in the Army, along with my other stuff. But, so, I mean, I could teach you all that kind of stuff, but this would be a really, really long video at that point. We're already at 6 minutes on this video, and that's not including all the other crazy stuff I'm going to put into it. But you want to make sure that you're getting the copper out of the face. That's one of the big problems as far as loading correctly and those kind of things and it not having issues. I'm going to do a couple more quick little cleaning things so that you can see it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the little square-ish part of it here, and this will come down into the bolt face. And I'm just scraping it down a little bit to get the copper out of there. The brass, copper, I'm sorry. I swear I know what I'm talking about, except for I'm saying all the wrong words. It's the pressure. Nice. I do. I've been an old school guy most of my life, you know. I use my dental picks and all my weird stuff, and you know, I used to always, you know, call it cool guy gear, right? But in reality, if you can carry one small thing in your pack or in your cleaning kit, you know, especially if you're in the field and those kind of things, and you can do with this one little tool, I can do this, you know, use like 10 different tools. You know, this is saving me space, saving me weight in my pack, saving me speed, and it's keeping my area cleaner. I want to show you one other thing that this thing is really handy dandy for. I actually seen this in a couple of the groups that I'm in. People are always asking, how do you clean inside of there? You just take this and you stick it in and you spin it. Ooh. This is a really hard spot to get clean in every AR in the world, and it has nothing to do with the AR itself. It's just the way it's made. You know, I mean, it's a hard spot to get to, and usually you'll put about 200 Q-tips down there. Oh yeah. Let me see if I can show you that real quick. See this pile of debris right there? That's what I just scraped out of there. So once again, Counter-Strike Tactical, thank you very much. Espo, you man. I'm really happy with this. I'm happy with the trigger. The trigger works spectacular. I'm happy with the cleaner. I think the cleaner worked really well. And he also sent me some of this other stuff, which I will be using here, but we're kind of running out of time on the video. These are all just the big Q-tips and stuff like that. These are way more industrial than just buying Q-tips from the store. They do work very well for getting into those hard-to-reach places. Which, I mean, obviously we got to clean all the inside of the rifle and everything out. And if y'all want to see a video like that, if y'all want to see how to clean a rifle, if y'all want to see different things, I mean, I don't know about the entire armor like reality, but I can show you most all of it. So if you have anything that you would like to see, you let me know. We'll make a video of it and we'll abuse my stuff. I have no problem with that. I enjoy doing it. What else do we got? I think that might just about be it. Thanks for watching. Like and share so we can get out there and have fun. Come on out to Viking Endeavors and we'll blow some stuff up together. If you really want to get into it, John, you need to come out with the camera right there. You, me, shoot stuff, do a video. All right, take care.